Hi everyone. Today we are making thank you to Carrie the Crafter. He had made some of these using 12 by 12 papers, but I'm going to be using 8 by 8 papers. Now you could use 6 by 6, 4 by 4, 7 by 7, whatever you choose, but today, because the 12 by 12 paper just don't fit on my cutter, and I'll show you what I mean after. So I'm going to be using 8 by 8s, and that's what these are made out of. I just thought I'd finish them up, and here's how they look before I glued them all. And these ones are double-sided, and here is one that's not double-sided. It just has the white. Now, it doesn't matter if it's double-sided or not, because you won't really see these once you get the tickets in there anyhow, or ephemera, whatever you choose to put in there. All right, so this is how this one looks without the tickets in. There's 2 spots. There's one here and one here. You can also glue this just here, here, and here on a page, and then have a 3rd tuck spot. Or there's more. I went ahead and did something a little bit different again, and I have on this one 1, 2, 3 tuck spots. Do you see that extra little one here? Did you notice something missing? I'm missing the little tab from the front or the top. So what I did is I cut that off, and I just glued the 2 here and here for an extra tuck spot. And again, if you just glue the 3 sides in a book, you would also be able to tuck something in there. So you would have 4 tuck spots. You would have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you could go as crazy as you'd like. Ready to get started? Let's start with the paper. So pick out any size paper, square paper you'd like. If you're not doing 8 by 8, your numbers are going to be different, and you'll have to figure out a little bit of math on your paper, how to fold it properly. I'll show you what I mean by my 12 by 12. Here's my scoreboard / cutter, and the 12 by 12, you have to cut it corner to corner, and it doesn't fit in there. Now I could put it on my cutting board, or just on my cutting mat, and just use I could just use a ruler, longer than this, but I could just use a ruler and then use a knife, and of course go down and down like just one of your regular knives, right? Your cutting knives, craft knives. But I chose to do a smaller version, which I love, and I think it worked out just perfectly. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with the cutting. You might notice on my board, I have here a very tip with some permanent marker, and I have 2 little marks here. What I did was, I did that for when I go to score after, okay? So these aren't on the scoreboards. I had to measure these lines also on this. I got this at Amazon, and it was very, very cheap. It's called eCraft, and it's very cheaply made. The lines, like the 7-inch, the 6-inch, none of it even adds up to the inches, so it was pretty annoying, to say the least. But what I chose to do was I chose to do the half marks in the pink, and then the black are the full inch marks, and that's where it truly is. So you could see it's close, but close isn't very good for me. All right, so I'm taking my 8 by 8 paper, and I'm going to line it up right where this here is where my cutter goes. So I'm going to line the tip on one end, the tip on the other, right in where the cutter goes, and I'm going to make sure it's even again and even, because when you do move one side, the other side tends to move on you as well. All right, so now when Carrie does it, see I have two? When Carrie did it with the 12 by 12 paper, he cut it once down here and then once here. So he had four out of the 12 by 12 paper. All right, well, I'm just going to stick with two. And again, you may, if you wish, go and cut it like Carrie did, down so that you can get, you would do both of them, of course, but I'm just showing you what it would be. You would then be able to cut it again. I'm not going to cut it, but you would get 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. But I'm going to leave it at this because my measurements I have all figured out, and it's the size that I want for crafting. So I don't want it to be too small for me. I like to have all the sizes that I have for tickets. Now I did math for this, and what works for me is, I'll get one of the old tickets here, or one of the old folding ones. What works for me is 3 3/4 inches times 3. This is 11, what is it now? 11 1/4, I believe, if I remember correctly. Get my measuring tape. Whoa! Here, 11 1/4 it is from tip to tip. So 3 3/4, 3 3/4, and 3 3/4 equals 11 1/4. Now, I don't know, I just happen to figure it out. It's not that I'm great at math, it's from trial and error. Now, you may just use a ruler, whatever you choose, and you can just go 3 3/4 and fold if you like, or put it a line, like put lines at 3 3/4 and then follow them up. I'm not sure how you would do that, honestly. I didn't do it like that. If you have a scoreboard, this is where I put the lines, just to show you, to make it easier. For me, anyway, it's easier. Probably not for you. My mind works differently. So this is why I have the lines here. I match my very tip up with this tip, okay? And I put the here and here, the black, so I could see them. But that tip is so important that that's sitting in there. And then you make sure that it's along the line. I don't know if this is in frame. Make sure it's straight along that line. That's one thing this is nice and straight. So I do know that's even. And so I even it up on there, and then I take out my little score that comes with the board, and then I score. I don't do it really hard because some papers kind of tear or put a hole. So all three, oh, you know what? We don't need this line. I forgot about that. That line there is not to score. That line there is just to make sure you're in the middle. Okay, let me show you what I mean with my second one. So I'll make it even. I'll make sure that's in the middle, and I'm not going to score that. I'm just going to score here at this line, which is 3 3/4, and then here at this line, which is another 3 3/4 over from this line, or 3 3/4 over from this end. Okay. Now, if I was to do the math, let's see. I'm not sure, guys. Okay, so this 3 3/4, where I can't see the line here, here to here, 7 1/2, 8, 9. That doesn't make any sense, does it now? 3 3/4 to there. That's 3 3. It might be easier if I fold, right? If I do the folds. See, it goes there, matches up very nicely. I'm just wanting, if you want to do the scoreboard part. So the first score is at 3 3/4. The next score would be at 7 1/2. And then the next, well, that doesn't really add up, does it? Because the whole board is 11 1/4. So 7 1/2, 8 1/2, 9 1/2, 10 1/2, 11 1/4. That's right. So you would score at 3 3/4, and then the next score would be at 7 1/2. You don't need that middle line there whatsoever. So here's my 2. And I have this one, I have unfortunately have the line down there. You would think that I would learn not to do that, right? So here are the 2 that I am going to decorate and show you how to glue up. I'm not sure how much decorating we will do, but we'll do a little bit. So for these here, when we go to glue, okay, I'm just using, what am I using? Eileen's Fabric Fusion today is what I grabbed. And I just transformed. I just transferred it into these little bottles that I got off Amazon really cheaply. And I leave them upside down so that they're easy to pour or to squeeze. So I just do along the bottom line, and I go a little bit short so it doesn't ooze out, okay? And then I make sure that's nice and even as I can down here. Then I'm going to do along this line. And I leave the glue out about 1/4 inch so that it doesn't ooze right away, okay? And then I take this one and I line it up as well as I can. And then I have a little bucket over here that I have of some bulldog clips. Paper clips will do, whatever you've got, a book. Just smush it just to help it dry a little bit. So that's that one. Now we'll do the next one, remembering to go up about 1/4 inch up all along that one line, squeezing just a little bit and stopping short by about 1/4 inch there. Tucking it, just make sure it's as nice as you can along that line. And then again, 1/4 inch up along that line, stopping short just 1/4 inch. And there we go. And another 2 clips. Woo! That was like a Mexican jumping bean. Oh my goodness, that scared me. Okay, so I usually would put these aside for quite a while to dry, but as you've seen, I had some already put together. So these ones will sit aside and until I decorate these ones. So I'll bring out the ones that I have. We're going to go through some treasures to see what we've got going on, to see what we're going to add. Now I was thinking I have a few little things laying around here that I might use. I'm not too sure. We'll just see what we're going to use, what we're not. I might do some inking. Let's see what we shall do. Oh, I kind of like this, but it's kind of large, eh? Let's see. Let's try just ripping this. This is one of those ones that I got off of Temu, and if you can see, there's a lot of little dots in there. They're supposed to all come out when that die cut, but it didn't punch them very well. I was only able to get out the edge ones. I was really disappointed with this one because it would have looked really nice, the whole thing like that, but it didn't work. It was the only one so far that I tried that it didn't really work. So I think I'm going to put this one on here. So I'm just going to put my glue on just in the corner. I want it to the ones that are up, I want that to happen. I want them to kind of be a little 3D and pop off the edge. Ooh. There we go. And I want something on that. Do I want this? No. Gentleman, maybe. I kind of like that, but I think that needs a little bit of distressing around it for my liking, especially since this paper is distressed looking here. I don't know if you could really tell, but it's pretty distressed along the edges. So this is just from a magazine that I got. Actually, it is from a crafting for sale magazine. Like you could buy yarn in it. You could buy, I forget what it's called. Oh, Hirschner's. This come out of a Hirschner's magazine. I just cut up the Hirschner's magazine. And so it's very, very light. So I don't want to rip it. So I'm going to be very gingerly about this. Hope everybody's doing good today. This is my day 2 of learning along and hopefully, you know, learning from my mistakes, and maybe you guys will learn from my mistakes too. That would be just a bonus, because I'm just learning, and learning to me is fun. I love learning new things, new skills, new songs, new everything, dances, you name it. I like just learning. All right, so I'm going to put this down, flip her over. Oh, we have it upside down. And I think right along so that that edge is right on there. There we go. I like that. I like that that's stuck up a little bit. Now I'm only going to decorate the corners because you're not going to see these things because of the tags sticking in, right? So I might even eventually make a book like this and have it a flip book, and it has a bunch of pages. I was thinking of that there this morning as well. I was also thinking of having it so that it hangs over a page. So if I was to have a page, let's get a paper here. Say I was to have a page, I could have one, like have this triangle cut out, and then have one on the other side, have the triangle cut out, but have these joined in some fashion. And then when you flip the page, the other side is on that side. I just haven't quite figured out. I was thinking washi tape, but that might not work as well. Maybe some stitching. That could be an idea. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know down below. That could be fun too. All right, so that one I think I would call, would I call that finished? No, you know why? Because I think this is so stark white. I'm going to just come along and do a little bit of, now if you don't have to have any fancy inks. Like this is Tim Holtz, the Distress ink in Vintage Photo. You don't have that. I've actually used shoe polish before. I've used like markers. I've used so many different things. Just like these. These are makeup brushes. I don't have anything fancy. You can use anything you like. Like, I got these from just a place called Bins. They were 3 for $2 on the $2 day. So you can use whatever you like. Now, I'm not sure. I'm just going to clean my brush on this part, just to scrub and get rid of all that starkness. There we go. Look at that. Now it's not just in your face white. Oh, I like that. Okay, so that's number 1 done. Now the next one. I didn't take out too many things. Oh, I took out some stampers. We can do some stamping. I'm not sure if they'll show up with the polka dots though. Let's see. Let's try that one. You're probably like, no, I want the other one. Now, just to show you, I don't have just Tim Holtz things. This is just a black, what is this? This is an acid-free pigment dye black, and it is oh my goodness, what's it called? Acid-free archival, that's what it's called. So it's not a brand name or anything, but it's black, and it is beautiful when it's stamped. It's just a no-name one that I got, I have no idea, maybe the dollar store. So I'm going to just, I don't know if I'm doing this right either. I think I normally see people put their stamp down and do this. I'm not sure. I guess I'll figure out my own little way. And the thing with the wooden dies, or wooden, sorry, stamps, you can't see what you're doing. I try not to wiggle back and forth. That's all right. That's all right. I don't want to go like this and rock it, because then I'll get the outside line of the stamper if I got any ink along these lines. So I don't want you to know that this was from a stamper, right? So I did the stamp there. All right, I have just a spare piece of paper here. I'm just going to stamp a couple of stamps on there just to get rid of the ink off of there. Look at that first stamp on there. I could use that. Totally could use that in something else. All right, I like that background or the stamp. I feel like, you know what I feel like? I feel like it needs an edging, and you could just use like a marker or a crayon. That might be what I use, actually. I would like to get, I have some watercolor crayons here. They're from Stampin' Up! Watercolor crayons. I have 2 sets. Oh, wait. I might not use these because they don't have black. This is called Watercolor Wonder, and yeah, they don't have black in them. I got these at a yard sale, actually. I've been saving up for a little bit. So I got these, also Watercolor Wonder, but there's white all the way to black. So they're white, some off-white, a light beige, a gray, a dark gray, and a black pencil that are watercolors. Actually, they look like crayons. Oh, these are watercolor crayons. So are the tins. Watercolor crayons. I don't know why I'm calling them pencils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, do I do it about, I'm going to do a box around, okay? Almost like a frame. Okay, that one's a little curved, but that's okay. I want to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some water in my hand. I better move this out of my road. I'm just going to spray some water in my hand. All right. And I'm going to use my finger. I know, I probably shouldn't use my finger. And I'm just going to go run around this frame. I'm just going to run around the frame. It kind of just, I find it brought out. And I'm going to just take this off. Oh, I like that. Maybe my mister. I've got a Tim Holtz mister spray. It just kind of lightly mists things. Well, my goodness. My new memory card doesn't last very long. I think I need a new memory card because it cut off on me when I finished up this one. So what I basically did was spritzed my hand with water, went around the black crayon mark, and then I did the little gentleman here, and I colored using the gray color instead of the black. And now I'm going to run my finger around that just to kind of, oh, that doesn't stick very well. Oh, it takes it up. There's something I learned today. This kind of paper does not sit very well with the watercolor. That's too bad. So I'll have to think of another way, maybe just tracing around it with a marker or leaving it alone, or ink or something like that. So here's some other things I had out that might have worked for me, but I'm not using today. This is out of a new thing I got, a die cut for my birthday that I was going to use. So these are the projects for today. I will get another memory card, a larger one, so because I like to edit my videos. So I have lots of time that I take off that you don't see, so you don't see the silliness. So I hope you stick with me through this 1 through 100 projects. I'm hoping by the end I'm a pro, which I highly doubt, but hopefully I learned a lot along the way. I'm going to take notes as I go. I'm going to take notes of any information you guys share with me, maybe at episode, I don't know if you call it an episode, but maybe after number 100, day 100, on day 101, I will sit and go through some of the great tips that you guys shared, because then everybody will benefit from the information. So thank you so much, guys. I should show you how the tickets sit in this one, right? Let's do that. All right. So there's a big ticket in there and there. These ones are only 2 ticket ones. So there we go, and there we go. And again, you could make the 3 ticket, the one that holds the 3, if you so choose also. Like in this one that holds has the 3rd hole there. So that's it, guys. Until tomorrow, if you have anything you'd like to see me do, I'm starting a list so that I can make sure I'm not stuck one day or another. And they won't all be very long. Some will be shorter, some will be longer. So I hope you stick around, and as I get more comfortable behind the camera, I promise my personality will come out a lot more. And I'm a very, very unique, funky, and silly lady. So take care, everyone, and